The other crazy news that's happened since the last time we talked is the NBA trade deadline is trade deadlining. The Mavericks traded Luka for AD. This one doesn't need much introduction because it almost broke the internet. And then Kyle Kuzma's in Milwaukee. Jimmy Buckets is now a Golden State Warrior. De'Aaron Fox is going to the Spurs to play with Wemby. I didn't even know about some of these trades until we got on 15 minutes before to talk about what we're going to talk about. Noah, I let you go first last time. What in God's name is going on with this year's NBA trade deadline?
I have no idea. This is the craziest trade deadline I can remember. Maybe they were crazier. I don't think so. I really want to jump in on the Luka trade because the entire league is scratching their heads, and there's theories of why he was traded. So I want to break down a couple theories and why I think he was traded, because that was by far the craziest one of all. Although with Jimmy Butler, I mean, there's so much going on. KD might be on the move. We know that, that relationship in Phoenix is rather tenuous. But let's start with Luka, right? Because sending Luka to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, I think blew everybody's mind. It blew the players' minds. LeBron had no idea. No one knew that this was happening. So theory number one is that Luka is an injury risk. We know that he's sitting out some games this year. I don't think this is really credible, honestly, because he played the most minutes in the finals last year. So I'm not buying that. The fact that he played 70 games last year, 22 games in the finals, it just doesn't make sense for me that it's an injury risk, especially when you traded him for Anthony Davis, who I believe is already sitting out because of like back strain or something like that.
That's a good point.
So yeah, maybe it is the first time that Luka has missed double-digit games consecutively for an injury in his career, but that's not a reason to trade a guy. So I'm cutting that theory out. No way, right? Second theory is that Luka only has a few years on his contract. Maybe they thought that he was a flight risk. Don't think that's the case either. It doesn't make a lot of sense because they kind of knew that.
Eric, I don't want to mess up your take, but we have a live breaking news. Darius Garland, buzzer beater, game winner against the Pistons right now. So
Jesus Christ. I thought you meant
you were going to say
on the trade. I did too.
I'm like, bro, you can't do
Darius
that to
Garland
us right now.
Cam Reddish. No, go ahead.
Cam Reddish? No, I can't.
The only thing I'll say to that is that we shouldn't need a buzzer beater to beat the freaking Pistons, but that's another.
Mitchell was out tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
A lot of rest.
Anyway, where was I? I don't think Luka was a flight risk. He's a defensive liability. That's a dumb one. Let's not even spend any time on that theory. The biggest theory the other one is that he's too expensive. Again, I don't buy it. The biggest theory is that the Mavs are plotting a move to Las Vegas. That's the key here, and that's what I think is going on. So to walk it back a little bit, Mark Cuban is no longer majority owner of the Mavs. He sold most of his stake. He didn't even know that this trade was going down, by the way. He is a minority owner still, but he had no idea. The Adelsons of Las Vegas, of the casino Adelsons, own the majority of this team.
Wow.
Las Vegas is the hotbed right now if you're trying to move a franchise. I think that's what's going on. Listen, the longtime Dallas attorney thinks so as well. His name's Chris Cratoli, something like that. I don't know.
Question, because I want you to, if you could work it into your take, how does trading Luka position them for a move to Vegas?
Well, it's a good question. It's because that they need to tank in order to make that a possibility. Gotcha. If they're a viable team heading to the finals, the NBA is not going to allow that move to go through. Listen, Adam Silva wants a team in Las Vegas. Let's not pull any punches about it. It's who's going to get that first. Dallas is a decent market right now for a team, and they do well. When that starts to change, you start softening the landing spot a bit more, so to speak.
I wonder about that every time we. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just I wonder about that one piece of the argument every time we talk. There's New York, L.A., and then I believe DFW is next, right before Chicago as the largest media market. So maybe I have that flipped. So how are you going to move a team from Dallas based on attendance? Even if they stink, they're going to pull.
Well, all they need to do is get that vote. But here's the piece that I think is really interesting.
Vote, yeah.
Gotcha.
I think the ownership would be happy to stay in Dallas, except for the fact that they've been trying to push to legalize sports gambling in Texas. Texas, you cannot gamble on sports at all. It has no shot to be passed. Texas is headstrong with their government in not getting sports gambling. So they're losing out on a ton of money just on the sports gambling side, and that's a massive piece of it. Listen, I think the threat of moving to Vegas is probably better than actually moving to Vegas. You say, hey, we're trading Luka. We do. We're preparing this move. Bring in sports gambling or you're going to lose us. So it might just be a play to get that into the state. But either way, I think it's a higher level politic game going on than trying to get better as a team. And their GM is clueless. Jason Kidd's clueless. I mean, everyone around, they just look so uncomfortable.
You are way more well-researched on this than I was expecting. That is so interesting to me. Like you blew my mind on live at the office content. I don't know.
I was listening too. I didn't say shit except like, wait, how do you know that? Where'd you get that? I was like,
yeah, word. Okay. Yeah. I'm here.
Well,
no,
thank you guys.
I think that makes perfect sense.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I was like genuinely intrigued. I'm like, oh shit, he's got scoop. Let me get it. Stuff's happening fast.
I'm trying to take my job serious over here, you know? I don't want you guys to cut me.
I had the best take chain for Monday. I want to take it off already and give it to Eric for the well-researched portion of this Luka Dončić trade. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Garrett stuff too.
Right. It doesn't surprise me that if this is the actual reason why all of this is going on, because, you know, business at the end of the day is a big game, right? And if you know, losing Luka, but you still bring a star in who's a friend of your other stars anyway, who cares? I get what's going on. It's just so interesting to me. When sports betting becomes legal in Texas, Eric deserves to win something because he called it right here. What is it? Wednesday, February 5th, 2025 on At the Office, our little sports show that we do.
Yeah. Or when the Mavericks move to Vegas, double down, one or the other, right?
We'll see. Time tells for all.
Bro, you covered everything I was gonna say with one exception. I was gonna say something about Luka Dončic's weight being part of the issue and them not being able to keep him in the gym. He's got a Shaq mentality where you're God's gift to basketball when you're out of shape. So think about what you could do if you gave a shit and worked out and cut 25 pounds. He just won't do it. Charles Barkley, some of the other guys had the same issue, but that's really the only thing you didn't already hit on.